Podcast giant Joe Rogan mocked Miller Lite's recently resurfaced ad campaign supporting Women's History Month in March. This in the wake of the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney backlash. Let's first watch the Miller Lite ad in question.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer.
That good helps farmers grow quality hops.
Here's what Rogan had to say.
Does no one learn? Does no one learn?
I mean, and they were taking all those ads that we loved from the 80s, and they were just putting them in shredders. Like, that was their campaign today. I saw it this morning.
So stupid.
I mean, I don't know. But once again...
Like, there's something wrong. Also, there's something wrong with women wearing bikinis. Mm-hmm. Those women wear bikinis because they look great.
So here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
Wow.
Oh, God. I hate identity politics with a passion. I really do.
It's pretty interesting.
It's so stupid. It's human beings made beer, okay? And some human beings look good in bikinis. It's like, what are we doing?
It's crazy.
Women do it. Women do it. Women do it. Like, what? Wild. I'd like to see a pie chart of how many women are actually involved in making beer.
So I know you were desperate to talk about this. I said, do we really need to? And you just totally, you walked all over me. Just like all the women taking control of beer production historically, not letting any men do this job, you just seized the agenda. So here we are, commenting on this issue. Go ahead.
Sometimes, not often, Robby, I really love my job, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to share my opinion with all these wonderful people every day and to hear their thoughtful feedback in the comment sections. But today is a unique moment where I think that this story is a little bit on the silly side. Mm-hmm. Look, is the commercial kind of cringe? Yes.
I do find the commercial extremely cringe.
Were all of the Babylicious commercials in the 80s kind of cringe? Yes. Bud Light, whatever, all of these beer companies have been famous for corny, like reductive gender stereotype commercials one way or the other for years. Beer has been exclusively marketed to men for years, yes, with pinup girls and bikini models, and maybe that's fine. That's fine, but it does seem to me to be kind of lacking in insight and a little hypocritical for Bud Light or whatever company to say, well, let's try to market to women for a while, and for you to immediately be like, oh my gosh, that's identity politics, but a bunch of commercials about hot girls at a bar are not identity politics, are not appealing to some reductive, gender stereotyped, narrow, flat version of what a man is. If you don't like the commercial, you can turn it off, you cannot drink the beer, but some people are going to like the commercial and they're going to want to buy the beer as a consequence, and it's up for the advertisers and for the company to decide what makes them the most money. That's all that's happening here. That's all that's happening.
But I guess in this commercial, they're saying, I totally take your point that, what's wrong with the previous commercials were geared toward a male gaze, etc., and these are not. So why is one bad and the other? But these commercials are saying that the ones geared toward the male gaze are bad, right? That's the point of the...
Well, some people think they're bad.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's being criticized by Joe Rogan.
You want to police that some people think that...
I'm not trying to police with you.
Also, can we cut through the BS a little bit here? It's okay for you to look at hot girls. It's like you're allowed to look at hot girls.
You can look at whatever you like.
There's no pogrom against looking at hot girls. The internet is filled with hot girls. It has never been easier in American life to pull up a hot girl and oogle to your heart's content. You can be doing it simultaneously. Open up a separate window in addition to your rising window and oogle away.
Let's put ideas in our viewers' heads.
But like,
we're competing for their attention. Don't tell them what's out there. There is nothing but a landscape of dead mainstream media commentary, and we are an island of sanity. That if you wander into the shadows, who knows what? It's just all CNN and Brian Stelter or something.
Yeah, we're the.
Don't tell them there's naked ladies out there.
But look, it is also true that as a society, many of us have reflect back on commercials and TV shows and stuff from years past and think, okay, we've changed our norms a little bit since then. We're a little uncomfortable watching commercials with gyrating bikini-clad women next to our daughters during the Super Bowl. We think that maybe there should be a broader portrait of what women have to offer. We think that maybe women drink beer and should be catered to someone in these commercials. We go more for Super Bowl commercials that have Clydesdales and Americana in them because that has broader, more general appeal as social norms and gender norms change. And like, Bud Light didn't do that. Bud Light is responding to changes that have happened in the world.
So I think it's interesting how the desire from a conservative standpoint to bash wokeness is so overriding that it overrides what would have been a pre-existing socially conservative belief.
Right.
Like, if you think about it for 1 second, wait, aren't the Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, socially conservative, Daily Wire, moral scold type people, isn't their goal to have less sexualized content? Like keep that should be between a man and his wife or something. Like they don't want naked, right?
Yeah, WAP is evil. Ben Shapiro told us that Cardi B is the devil
right.
and she shouldn't be singing about
But I
moisture.
guess if that was selling beer and then there was a subsequent beer commercial about how they shouldn't sexualize women, then they would want to because woke people were telling them not to. I guess.
Yeah, WAP is
fighting
bad.
wokeness is the overall goal.
WAP is bad. Hops is good. Yeah, look, I don't.
I do find the commercial cringy. And
Yeah.
Alana, what's her? Alana Glazer.
Glazer, yeah.
She was kind of funny in that
Broad
one.
City.
Yeah,
She's great.
I find her funny.
It's
That
a
was
funny
not a
show.
great commercial, but
It wasn't a great commercial. I think that people are trying to figure out what it means to appeal to a female audience. It was a Women's History Month ad also, so it was more heavy-handed than I would expect, like a generalized women drink beer ad would be. In fact, I looked up while we were between segments, other like cringe beer commercials. I pulled up one because it said Meghan Markle was in it, and I was like curious about what kind of beer ad Meghan Markle was in back in 2010. And the premise of that ad is that a lame guy comes up to the counter and she asks, "Do you want a light beer with flavor or a light beer that's bad?" And the guy, because he's lame and doesn't care about beer quality, is like, "I don't care, just give me whatever." And I don't, and the joke is that he doesn't have taste. And Meghan Markle says, "Oh, you don't have taste, just like you chose to tastelessly wear your girlfriend's jeans." And they zoom out and he's wearing skinny jeans because he's a metrosexual, which was like the LOL punchline of the early aughts, right? And then he goes back to
I hate to see metrosexuals bullied. My people.
I know you do, but like this is the thing. Like no one will make a commercial like that today because it's absurd. Then the man goes back to his table with his friends and he's like, "Is the score still 21-32?" And his friends go, "Yeah, just like your pant size." LOL. And it's like, okay, tastes change, norms change. There's cringe commercials that are appealing to a lot of different kinds of demographic groups. It's okay to hate this commercial. It's okay.
I was just recalling, this is going to be the second time I've referenced Mad Men on the show today, that trying to craft an advertisement campaign for a light beer is what sends Don Draper, the protagonist of Mad Men, down his final existential crisis in the course of the show. It's in the last 2 or 3 episodes. He's sitting in a meeting at the new company that bought Sterling Cooper. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen this 15-year-old show. And he's in a meeting and he's seeing the guy presenting, laying it out for them, what they got to think about, is doing his shtick so perfectly, and everyone, and Don realizes he's one of 20 carbon copy people who are all thinking through how can they trick a middle-aged man in middle America who thinks of himself as athletic and still the high school quarterback, but is aging and paunchy and owns all this lawn equipment that he doesn't use. How do they get him to drink a light beer? And Don he stands up, he walks out of the meeting, and then he drives halfway across the country because he's so horrified. It's great.
I think the real joke is the idea that there's a masculine, macho, cool way to sell a light beer. It is what it is.
I retain my masculinity by drinking red wine only.
Also, probably there's a significant female market for light beer.
Yeah. Well, I was actually led to believe that the sexy lady pictures, in some contexts, on magazines, are actually do appeal to a female audience because you want to imagine yourself with that beauty. In terms of beauty products, Cosmo, right?
But there's beauty for female gaze and there's beauty for a male gaze, for sure. Hetero, obviously. We're being very heteronormative. Male gaze, female gaze.
Don't come for us. Tomorrow on Rising, Bree and I will be back here at the desk to bring you all the serious news commentary you deserve and that you demand. You hold us accountable when we stray from the path.
I cannot wait. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who prefer to listen while you're on the move, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.